I want to show you how you can create one single video that will be your best sales asset that you ever produce for your service business. Why do they need to choose you? How valuable would your business actually be if it wasn't reliant on the key man risk of you being involved in that business? That's just going to solve one of the symptoms. It's not going to actually solve the problem. They don't trust you enough. They don't know exactly what you do, how it's going to help them. Is it the right thing for them? Do they need to do it now? If you do not watch this video, I will not get on the call with you, right? It's a game changer. It's worth it that much. It has that much value. And for us, it's very simple. We increase your show up rate, we increase your close rate, we decrease your time on calls. Alright guys, welcome back to another video today with Work Life Unbalanced. I want to show you how you can create one single video that will be your best sales asset that you ever produce for your service business. And it's going to allow you to remove the pitch completely from calls, buy back your time from calls to reduce the call time, the average call time, and it's going to increase your close rate as well. So if you're a founder and you're trying to either reduce the time you spend on calls or remove yourself entirely from calls so your team can handle calls, if you've got a sales team, even if you haven't got a sales team, you want other people in your business to be able to handle calls and onboard people successfully without your close rate going completely to the floor. This one video, when you produce a high performing pitch, one presentation, one professional presentation, and you as the founder do that, you will never need to take sales calls again unless you like it and you just want to spend less time doing it. I want to walk you through exactly how we do it and give you the framework today. You can literally take the framework. You can either choose, I want to build this myself for my business. You can use the framework slide by slide. We'll teach you how to do it for your target audience, for your offer, so that it works entirely and people turn up to the call and they're ready to buy. They literally have their credit card in hand, because if they've turned up to the call after watching their pitch, they are the ideal customer. They know it, you know it, and it's just a very authentic consultation where you deliver value on that call and then they just proceed to buy with you. You may face some objections. Very rarely though, objections will be completely reduced. But I want to explain to you how it works. So first of all, the call itself, a traditional sales call, right? Whether it's split over two calls, whether it's split or it's just one call, this is how the process usually goes. You've got the discovery phase of the call. We've talked about this before. This is where you should be asking questions. If you're not doing it like this anyway, you probably need to really analyze your process. But if you do have a good process in place, your salesperson is probably going to be analyzing the client, the prospect on the call, and they're going to be asking them loads and loads of questions. Because why? You want to identify the pain points, you want to identify the problems they have. Are they problem aware or are they unaware? So do you need to educate them quickly in that call on becoming problem aware? And then are you going to actually provide the correct solution to the problems that they now agree that they've got? So they basically see this solution in front of them. Maybe they see other solutions out there in the market, but then why do they need to choose you? And that's when they become truly product aware, which your solution is that product that you use to bridge the gap, to solve those problems so they now have the desired result that they actually want. And that's all it is. But that should be done correctly through asking the right questions, right? And then when you pitch them that solution, which a lot of people do live, very repetitive on that call, if it's a one-to-one Zoom, the worst thing you can do is pull up that presentation, walk them through that slide deck in a repetitive process, and they just feel like they're being sold to. It goes from what was a really positive, authentic conversation where you're delivering value, going back and forth with the prospect, to then you're pitching to them and then you're closing them, right? Becomes very salesy towards the back end. But we want to show you how you can actually move this before, so it warms up the prospect. They join the call, they have a really good discovery call, and they just walk forward with the sale. It just really does become that simple. But to give you the fact, it's going to increase your close rate 100%. Well, not by 100%, but it's going to increase your close rate by a lot, right? We've done this in every single service business we've had since we realized the value that this one video actually does when it's produced correctly. And that's the key. Because when I say to you, right, just move your pitch before the call, this is when you're probably going to realize how bad your pitch probably is, or you're going to see a lot of holes in your pitch, because your pitch should answer all of the questions that someone's got. And I'm going to walk through those questions with you today, first of all. For you to truly understand the Welcome Pack VSL, so which is your pitch that you're moving before the call, you need to know the difference between a Sales VSL and a Leads VSL. Now, a Leads VSL is what you probably know as a VSL, a traditional VSL. It's what you see on the front of landing pages. It doesn't cover all of the things that we need to be an effective pitch that people watch before the call, and then they join the call, they're ready to buy from you. So what do we actually do in a sales VSL? We produce a welcome pack, a presentation, a slide deck, right? Whatever you want to call it, a pitch deck. Very professional way to walk someone through a neat presentation in 10 to 15 minutes. So when they join that call, they're ready to buy from you. And how do we actually do that? It's because every slide is purposely there to answer a question or even handle a pre-objection. So it's an objection that might come at the end of calls if you haven't handled the sales process correctly. And if you're passing people over to your sales team or to your team that aren't salespeople, they are not going to be equipped to handle it. They haven't got the sales skills to handle these objections when it comes to the surface. So how do we pre-handle it? We pre-handle it with the founder, the person that's the face of the business, being on camera, delivering the effective pitch through these slides that are pre-scripted, and they're there for that reason, right? So each slide here is built to answer a question in the prospect's mind that might be a reason why they object or why they need to think about it, why they need to take time to make the decision. It's basically because every single question they've got as to will this work for me is not being answered throughout the actual pitch, and that's what we need to do. So first slide is always going to be the target audience call out. You're going to basically confirm straight away in a way of a hook. So similar to content, you want to hook them in. You want to guarantee that their time is not going to be wasted watching this presentation, and tell them directly from the first slide this is for them. So for me, when I'm use this as an example where we build out this pitch presentation for you. If you're a service-based business owner, a consultant, an agency, you own some sort of service-based business, and you do have a sales process, you either do the selling yourself or you have a sales team, this is going to work for you. This is going to either increase your close rate when you're already doing calls, or you've got a sales team doing calls, or it's going to reduce the average call time. It's going to potentially reduce your time from calls entirely and remove yourself from the business so you can actually focus on growing and scaling the business, which is where you should be as a founder. So you listen to that and you're like, bang on, I need to listen more because this sounds like it's going to work for me. And then is problem unaware, okay? This is where we really have to make sure that they are totally caught up, and we can't skip ahead from this point, because problem unaware, right, is people that think they've got a different problem. It's the doctor analogy. It's when you Google your symptoms online and it gives you a different problem, and you now are hooked on that being the problem. So for example, you may think you've got a leads problem. All my leads showing up are unqualified and they're not right to buy from me. They're not going to be able to buy from me because they're unqualified, right? That's you assigning a different problem to the actual problem. And I would say, as the doctor, as the expert, I would say to you, no, you haven't got unqualified leads. You've actually got qualified leads. If we were to survey every single one of them, we'd find out very quickly they are the right people that you just called out, the target audience. But they just don't trust you enough. They're not warmed up enough yet when they join that call. So they're not closing on the call. The close rate is going to the floor because they're not warmed up enough. They don't trust you enough. They don't know exactly what you do, how it's going to help them. Is it the right thing for them? Do they need to do it now or can they wait till later? It needs to answer all those questions. So this is when we educate them on the actual problem. We say that, listen, if they were to watch this one video, it would solve that problem. They would now be qualified. They would be warmed up. If you run in ads, so you're getting cold leads through that don't know you, how do we nurture them in enough time before they join that call so they actually buy from you? So that's problem unaware. We educate them on the actual problem that they've actually got, and we basically let go of the problem they thought they had. So as the doctor, we sit them down, we say, listen, this is the actual problem, not what you Googled online and you think you've got. So then they become problem aware. So then we drum home a little bit more that this is the actual issue and this is why you're feeling these pains. This is why you're feeling these problems here. So we really hone in on the pain points on these on this slide here as well. So we remind them of what they should be feeling with this problem in hand. Then we come down to solutions. So what other solutions do you have then? You may be looking at, the perfect show up sequence to nurture them as much as possible through emails and SMS campaigns, which again, it does increase show up rates and it helps people show up to the call, but does it nurture them ready to buy? No, it doesn't solve that problem. What about sales training then? If my close rate is low, why don't I just invest in a sales training course or an expert sales trainer that's going to train my team or train myself to handle objections? But handling the objections is just 5% at the end of the call. the majority of the sale is won very early on. They make a decision pretty much before they buy, before they even turn up to that call of whether they're going to buy or not. So how do we fix that issue right at the very start? That's basically us looking at the other solutions out there to a low close rate or a low short rate, and we say, well, that's just going to solve one of the symptoms. It's not going to actually solve the problem. So this is where we are drumming home again with this, the welcome pack. It's going to solve that problem. This is the right solution. And then that's where we really educate them on being product aware. So we go into the specifics now of the product. We say what we deliver. What do we do? So we first of all have this full consultation where we have an onboarding process, a deep consultation, a deep dive into your business. We understand exactly what target audience you serve, who are your dream clients. We need to understand everything about them, the pain points, the problems, basically all of this. We need to know about your dream client as well. So we figure all that out. Then we look at your offer. Is there any holes in your offer? We're not here to fix your offer. We're just here to really analyze your offer. Is there an issue with your offer? Probably not, because you're already doing well. So we look at the offer, we try to improve it, but we just really understand it so we can pitch it effectively in throughout this script. Then we actually go to the product breakdown. So we talk about what we actually deliver then. So we script everything for you. We build the slides for you. We do the design for you. And we can also do the editing for you. We put it all together. And if we want to implement it for you, we can do that as well. So we put it into your CRM, into your show up sequence, or you can either do this manually. If you're running a team or very small team, it's just you maybe running the business as a solopreneur. This can work where you literally just send out one link, because that's all it is. It's one video. Before you get on that call with that person, you say this is a must watch video. If you do not watch this video, I will not get on the call with you, right? It's a game changer. It's worth it that much. It has that much value that it's generally not even worth your time to get on a call with someone that's not worth watching, that hasn't watched your video. So make sure they watch the video. They're going to show up ready to buy. And that's how it fits in. So that's where we say, how does it work, right? How does it work? Basically answer the question of what are the next steps? So like what's going to actually happen with this process? What do you need from me? How much time is this going to take from me? It's answering all the questions that someone might have and they might use as an objection on the call when they're stalling for, proceeding with the actual deal. So you want to answer that question here with how does it work? Basically saying what are the requirements from them. If you're running an ad agency, like what is required from a budgeting standpoint? How much money do they need to invest? How much time do they need to invest? How much time in building creatives, helping you with copy? For us, it's a full done for you service, so we don't really require much from them at all. Then you hit them with proof. You've got to use within this pitch, you've got to have proof. You've got to have proof of the results, and that's where you really bring it back to results-based thinking. And you're not selling them on the specifics, because yes, this video is used to finally answer the question of giving them the details of your service and what you actually do, but we need to make sure that they see it from a results perspective. So they're not just looking at it from a purely, analytical, what's involved, what's the nitty-gritty details of what you do for me. It's what are the results you actually get for me? And for us, it's very simple. We increase your show up rate, we increase your close rate, we decrease your time on calls. Very, very simple. If that's something you're striving towards, you want to maybe reduce or remove your time on calls, this is going to deliver on that. And that's what we are all about. Does it really matter how we get there? Obviously, this is going to explain a little bit what we do to get there. But do you really care if that's the result you're definitely going to get? It doesn't really matter. So that's what we hit on there, but we give it in an example of a case study rather than us just telling you this is what it's going to do. We say this is what it's done for this person, this was done for that person. How does it actually fit? So how it fits is basically showing them how it fits in their business. So for us, there's two examples, automated or manual. If you want it automated, we build it into your CRM, your existing CRM, into your show up sequence. It's going to increase show up rates, and it's going to just be automated for every lead that comes through and books onto your calendar. If you want it manual, if you're a solopreneur, you haven't got the big CRM system in place and you just want it to be very simple, we do this with our coaches as well. So when they're talking to their own prospects, we just have a link that they just send them. Before they come in for an in-person consultation or they come in for an online Zoom, we just give them a link that they send to that prospect. We say, make sure you watch this 10 to 15 minute video before we speak. And they do. And then they show up, they're ready to buy. They understand everything. They don't have any questions about what's in this package, what's in that package, what does this do, what is coaching. They don't have those questions because they've watched this presentation, the Welcome Pack presentation. Okay? So that's us showing them how it fits. So they now know how it fits in their life. Scarcity. This is when you've got to use some sort of salesy tactic. It's not a salesy tactic, but it's just the truth, right? If I said to you, I've got 1,000 clients, 1,000 leads, I want you to take them on this month, you'd actually turn around to me and you'd say you probably can't do it, right? Unless you've got a massive business, a huge team, and you can handle that load all of a sudden. So be realistic with how many people can you actually take on. Just be honest. Just be authentic. This is how many people we take on each month. This is the demand we got. Give them an idea of the demand you've got. So they know this is legit. And if you don't take action this month, for example, we only take on people every couple of months or something like that. Just be truthful with whatever your process is so they know that this isn't something they can just sit on for a while. Otherwise, they are going to have that option, that card close to their chest where they basically say, well, I don't really want to do this right now. Or you flip it. Instead of using scarcity from a point of how much you can handle, how much can they afford to lose? So that's the question you can ask them. So in this slide, we can flip it around. It depends on your business, but we can flip it around to just be like, right, you're spending X amount of hours on calls every month. What's the opportunity cost of where that time could be spent growing the business rather than you just being a salesperson, a glorified self-employed salesperson? Where could that be spent? Where could you be in a month from now if you had that time back immediately and you were able to make that change? Where could you actually be if you weren't the salesperson at all? If you were to remove yourself entirely and finally have a valuable business, how valuable would your business actually be if it wasn't reliant on the key man risk of you being involved in that business? So these are the questions you need to answer from a scarcity standpoint. Either you basically use it from your perspective, what you can handle and the limited spaces, or the opportunity cost of what they would lose if they continue to wait and just waste time. So I'll give you an example with PB Academy. When we scaled that fitness coaching business, we've got online and we've got an in-person gym, totally different business. But when we scaled the coaching company online to over 250 active clients, we had a full team delivering the service, coaches, and we had a sales team. And with this, the scarcity we always relied on, we had certain promotions, so cut-off dates. So we'd remind them of that. So we would have certain intake dates. We would have certain promotions where we'd have prizes and giveaways and deadlines. So that there was very legit scarcity involved. They had to make a decision now or they'd have to wait till the next intake. Who it is for versus who it isn't, right? This slide is extremely important because this is just hitting home again, the target audience call out. So now you want to use it from a frame perspective of basically, are they going to really be in the camp of saying no? And the only person that says no is the person they definitely don't want to be, right? Alex Hormozi uses this really well, more from a feeling perspective. He said at the start of his pitch where he made over $105 million, I think it was $106 million in 72 hours. And what he did was, he said, when you see all these stats, he was talking about his validation, you know, I've sold businesses for 40 plus million, blah, blah, blah. When you see this, it's going to create envy in some. It's going to create skepticism in others. It's going to create sadness in some, right? He used these terminologies. And then the final one was, and for a select few, you'll be inspired. And he was basically, in a very clever way, basically saying, if you're in this camp, if you're feeling skeptical, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling envious, you're in the camp of losers. And even if you felt that, if they did genuinely feel that, they were like, I need to change my mindset. I need to be inspired. So he was just shifting them into a different frame of mindset where they had to change to be the buyer. He just wanted them to buy. And he was very clever throughout the whole presentation, throughout the hour long. It was insane. Anyway, that's what this is for. So this is basically saying there's two people here watching this video now. If you've come to this point, either you're in this camp, which is who this is exactly who this is for, and it's the business owner, it's the person that is fed up of just wasting their time running a business that's actually employing them. They're not able to scale, they're not able to maximize the potential of the business. They're still stuck on sales calls. They want to get out. This is perfect for them. Or you're in the camp of you're happy having a business that just relies on you. If you stop working, it stops working. It's not actually valuable. It's actually worth nothing because it's just a glorified self-employed job. If you're happy with that, then don't worry about it. Just keep repeating yourself on sales calls. That's fine. And not achieving your potential, if that's what you want to be. So realistically, if you do that in the right way, you're going to come to that slide and be like, no, I'm this person and this is exactly who it's for. It's for me. Then proof, hit them in another case study, more results, just hit the home, lower down that skeptical barrier, that arms crossed sort of mentality. You want to remove that completely. Then the final thing, what do people ask on sales calls? When it comes to the end, if you've done a good job, what do they say? What are the next steps? You answer that question on the pitch before they get on the call, right? You want to answer everything. So what are the next steps? The next steps might be, right, great. What we do is we send over an onboarding form. You fill that in straight away. Within 24 hours, we'll be able to send you some resources just to crack on with, work on your target audience sheet, work on your offer sheet, just so we have as much information as possible. We need to know a little bit more about your branding. We need to have a link to your website. We can then dive in, and once you've given us that information, we can build everything out. So that's all we need from you. It takes an hour of focused work. If you can do that for us, it'll save you countless hours for life, and it'll increase your close rate, which will make you more money. So that's what that's all about. And then the guarantee, if you do have a guarantee, 2 ways to go about this. Either you go price focused with the guarantee and you just give them, a really easy deal of, money back guarantee. But I do find that these don't work as well anymore. It's 2025. People have really exhausted I even did a double your money back guarantee, which was like too good to be true. And when people feel like it's too good to be true, they feel like, oh, maybe this product isn't as good as it says it is because they're having to give such a big guarantee. So I would, for higher ticket clients, for business owners, B2B, performance guarantees. If we don't deliver on these results, if we do not increase your close rate and we don't reduce your time on calls in the next 28 days, then we will continue to refine the product so we know it works until it does exactly deliver on that fact. So we're not going to give you your money back and waste your time. And yes, you've had your money back and you've had an asset as well, but it's not delivered on the result you wanted. So what we will do is we will continue to work with you until it does get that result because we know it works. So there's probably something that needs to be fixed. And you know yourself in business, there's always something that needs to be fixed, right? So we may not get it right first time, in a very rare case, but we will be honest and we will continue to work with you until it works. So that's something you can do. And then the final thing is just what I absolutely love about this way of pitching is the packages, right? Even if you have right now, you could be sitting there thinking, I just do online coaching. You need to find a way to differentiate it, to package it. One is going to be a price anchor. One is going to be the main service you really want to sell. And then behind the scenes, you do not show this on this pitch, but you may have a downsell option as well for people that really can't afford it and you still want to help those people. That's what we had. We had a diamond pricing model with our business, and we had one as a price anchor, one as the majority, like 80 to 90% of people took that offer, and then we had a downsell option just in case, for two reasons. If they really can't afford it and they really need help, that will help them. The other reason is as a legit downsell. So when people have worked with us on the main service for X amount of time, years, they would then eventually downsell to that option to still get the accountability that they wanted, right? So this does depend on you. You can work that out. We can work with you on that if you haven't got two packages. Most people in business that are doing very well anyway will have multiple packages. So here is where we talk about them. And we just need to be very smart and very simple, so we don't list all the hundreds of things you offer. If you're an accountancy business and you, for example, will be doing like bookkeeping, you'll be doing strategic consultancy sessions, you'll offer like one consultancy call per month, or maybe it's management accounting, maybe like this. What are the differentiations between the packages you've got? If you've got 2 tiers, 3 tiers, you need to have that just neatly put together so it's really easy to differentiate them, and don't go into the massive details on these slides because we want to keep this video to literally 12 to 15 minutes maximum. So this is where they can have an idea coming into the call of, that package suits me best, or that package suits me best. But you do not display prices at this point. You don't want to display prices because it can allow people right at the end of this really nice presentations where they're totally sold to just become immediately price focused heading into the call. Guard up again. You do not want that. So you want to have a nice authentic conversation where you have that discovery call with open arms, open conversation, very chilled, delivering value. They've already received the pitch, so they understand it's exactly for them. They understand what it's going to deliver, the results it's going to get them, the guarantee is going to give them an idea of the packages, and then maybe you can answer a little bit more in-depth questions about the differentiations between the two packages, get them sold on a start date, they agree on a start date, they agree on the different packages, then you talk about the payment, then you talk about the payment plans. If they need payment plans, then you close the deal. Very, very simple. This solves the problem. I will not get on a sales call anymore, or any sort of call, unless, if it's to sell someone into a service, unless they've received this pitch presentation beforehand, because it is that much of a game changer. I wanted to make this video to explain to you that, number one, how important every single slide is. Number two, you can build this out yourself if you want to. If you want to, you can grab the framework below and you can get to work straight away on building this for your own service and start to see the results yourself. But if you want us to do it with the years of experience we've got building these out, not just for ourselves, but for others as well, we can put this together for you and we can make it work. We can build a script, we can help you present it, and we can help you edit it to, or even be put into an automated show-up sequence, or sent manually, up to you. But either way, this channel is all about growing and scaling the service business online. So if that's you, you're trying to scale a service business, make sure you subscribe. And I hope this helps. I hope you realize the value of this Welcome Pack VSL. It's an absolute game changer. But yeah, thank you, and I'll see you soon.